Let me bring in Hilary Shelton. He's with the NAACP, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. He's the Washington Bureau Director and Senior Vice President for Advocacy. Mr. Shelton, welcome.
Thank you. It's an honor to be with you.
There is clearly a climate of rage, anger, pain, and loss in this country. African Americans feel they're being targeted. Police officers feel that they're being targeted. So clearly there is a big disconnect here.
There's a lot that needs to be done, and you're absolutely right. Many of the challenges that we're talking about, whether it's African-American treatment by police officers, and certainly the safety of our police officers and peaceful protesters is very much a part of this equation. There are two distinctive sets of issues that really need to be addressed, so it's important that we look at those issues individually.
Okay, tell me what those issues are.
No, very much as we're talking about the challenges, the reason that the peaceful demonstration was going on in the first place is because of a long stream and continuous succession of African Americans unnecessarily being gunned down by police officers on our streets, being treated very differently in many ways than white Americans throughout the United States. The reason those demonstrators were demonstrating is to try to address those concerns. They want peace for everyone. They want to stop that injustice. The other side of the issue is someone that has decided to take in their own hands, addressing these concerns as well, or perhaps even using this as an excuse to address these concerns by being able to buy guns so easily and use them on America's streets, even killing our law enforcement officials, our first responders. So indeed, we have two important sets of issues that must be addressed. And I think in these particular cases, the demonstrators have talked about their hearts going out, as so many Americans, hearts have gone out to the families, the friends, and the communities of those who were part of these police officers' lives.
What went through your mind when you first heard about the sniper and what he said to these hostage negotiators? He said he was upset about recent police shootings and he wanted to kill white people, especially white police officers.
What we see is someone who is clearly quite confused about what needs to be done in our country, but very confused in many ways as the shooter was in South Carolina, believing that they could take into their own hands and actually put to death those that they disagree with, whether he went into an African-American church in Columbia, South Carolina, or the streets of Dallas, Texas, and did what they did to those police officers so unnecessarily, so unfairly, and so tragically.
That Mayor of Dallas, Mike Rawlings, told the crowd in a vigil today that we need an attitude of humility and gratitude. Sir, how do we bridge the racial divide that seems so prominent right now in this country?
Well, let me say first, to add even more confusion to this scenario, you have many African-American police officers that find themselves in the extraordinary position of when they're in uniform, they're treated and looked one way, but when they're out of uniform, they have some of the same challenges that African-Americans have. But here's the solutions. The solutions have to go to actually having laws in place to address first, in this particular case, the issue of gun violence. Guns are much too easy to get to in the United States. They're the #1 cause of death for African-American boys between the ages of 15 and 19. 40% of all the deaths of children by guns are African-Americans that only make up 13% of the population.
Or is it making sure people have the gun who are in great mental state, perhaps?
That is exactly the point. The point is that what we have is a situation which is so easy for people to get their hands on guns without going through the kind of thorough background checks that are actually pending on Capitol Hill as new policies. In essence, we know there's a problem. When we think about all these mass shootings that have gone on, and this is a mass shooting. A mass shooting by definition is killing 4 or more people in the context of one episode. So whether we're talking about now the streets of Dallas, schools in Connecticut, whether we're talking about movie theaters in Aurora, Colorado, or other places, we have a problem with guns, but it's not limited to guns. Don't forget the issue here is also a response to police officers using too much force, deadly force, in situations that they absolutely do not have to.
All right, we'll leave it at that. Hilary Shelton, thank you so much, sir.
Oh, it's a pleasure being with you.